So I still cannot make up my mind. And as I said in my video yesterday, that stop obsessing, be in the present moment. And I was able to actually do that yesterday. Went to the beach in the morning for a few hours. Then I went to the park with my son when he got off school. The two of them, I took them to the playground. And another couple hours I spent there, not sitting down, moving my body constantly for at least 5 hours. So whenever I go out with them, I choose not to sit down at all because I want to keep moving my body, because that's when my thoughts get clear and that's when my thoughts get calm. However, yesterday, my mind felt exhausted after, but it still was thinking. And it wasn't overthinking, but it was like my observing mind was observing the thoughts that were coming out. Like I was aware of everything that I was thinking in that moment. So I chose to think through my dilemma that I'm in at the moment, but also be in the present moment with them. So I would think through my stuff and then go back to play a game with them, then go back to my stuff. So I was going back and forth between trying to work through what I'm going through, yet be focused on being in the present moment with them. So I woke up this morning and again, the thought wouldn't leave my mind about going or staying. And I try not to obsess over it, but it just keeps nagging away at me. And I can't control this feeling that it's nagging away at me. So I'm trying to do the things that calm your mind and are healthy for you and that are part of your routine. So again, today I went to the beach, took my little one, it was sunny, it was nice weather, and we did pretty much the same thing, exploring. He was climbing the mountain. So we walked up and down on the beach for a couple hours, and the sun was shining, it felt good, but I kept going through contemplating what's going on in my mind and trying to come to some sort of conclusion and being present with it, going back and forth, because my mind can't stop obsessing over what I should do. Whereas before, in the past, when I told you I had these thoughts, immediately I was like, nope, this is not going to work. Stay here. This is what you need right now. You still need to heal and have space away from everything that you came from. So how the creator of the universe works is that he'll keep giving you a thought on what he wants you to do, what your highest, and him is just basically you. You guys are co-creating together. He created you, but you also have the free will to choose what you want. So it's like your highest timeline wants something for you. So the creator will basically give you signs, and the highest version of you will give you signs on what it wants you to do. So your destiny, your blueprint was created before you came into this world. I've talked about this before. Either they say that we created our blueprint when we came into this world, or the creator created our blueprint, and as soon as we're born into a vessel, we have a fulfillment that we're supposed to fulfill on in this lifetime. So how I think it actually works is that the creator created us with each of our souls, right? And each soul has a soul signature and a soul frequency that it vibrates out. But you can, because we have free will, we can raise our frequency and vibrate at a different frequency and resonate with a different group of people. But when we start out, that soul signature is our individual purpose that we're meant to fulfill in every lifetime that we go to, we reincarnate. The purpose of every single soul is to seek knowledge and truth, to perfect itself, to do good deeds, to do all these things so that we get closer and closer to creation, so that we become one with creation. Reach the different dimensions so that we become one with creation after that, when we reach the highest dimension. However, because we're each individual souls that were created, we have different ways of fulfilling that purpose. So spreading truth and knowledge, we can spread it through poetry, we can spread it through tarot reading. So the purpose is to perfect your spirit, and then we have different ways of fulfilling our purpose of spreading truth and knowledge based on what our soul signature was created to do, if that makes sense. So our soul signature is the blueprint of what the creator intended for our purpose to be. So I love writing. That was my purpose for all the reincarnations that I came into existence. It was, I think, writing. So whether we're trapped in the matrix or not, I think that any planet that we go on and we decide to reincarnate on, we create the blueprint of how we want that life to look like. Maybe we change up different things that we try. Maybe, for example, another lifetime I don't do writing and I decide to be a healer through medicines and stuff. But at the end of the day, my soul signature is still healing. Like, you know how you do the brainstorming charts and what's the main point, and then you branch out into little things? Like, you'll always have a main point, but you'll branch out fulfilling it in different ways. So even though my soul signature was created, let's say for healing, right? And I heal through different ways depending on the blueprint that I create to come into this reincarnation, into this body as Ashley. I still have free will whether I fulfill that purpose or not. And this decision that I'm struggling with, the reason why I've been so adamant on staying here was because I felt that I came back into my abundant timeline. But I attributed a place to my abundant timeline. So, but really it's about the choices that I made. So I chose to heal. I chose to face my shadows. I chose to get rid of toxic habits. I chose to be out in nature and create this routine. So your abundant timeline is not a place. That place brought you healing, and that's what that place was meant to do. Your abundant timeline is based on the choices you make in terms of what serves you and what doesn't serve you. So yeah, like I struggle with whether the place Toronto is going to serve me or bring out a side of me that I've worked on healing, that I've worked on overcoming. Like, is it going to bring back this feeling like I'm trapped almost? So for example, I value my own space. That is the reason why I came here, because I didn't have my own space when I was there after my marriage ended. So because I value my space so much, that's what created this serenity and made me feel peace, because I was able to do things the way I want without having someone else in my ear trying to guide me with their perspective on what they're not wrong, but they're trying to guide me with their perspective. But I have my own way of being and my own way of doing things. So anyone facing something like that, the question that you have to ask yourself is that going back to that place, you know you're going to have triggers. As much as we've healed, as much as we've come to terms, as much as we understand things from both sides, we still have triggers. Certain people still trigger us, certain situations, environments still trigger us. But because we've gained because we've worked on the healing, we don't react the same that we did when those triggers came. Like, for example, I'll still get stressed out and overwhelmed with the fact that I'm raising the kids alone in a place that I don't speak the language and I have no support. But yet when I have those moments of feeling overwhelmed, in the beginning, it would make me feel so defeated and guilty that, oh my God, how am I still getting frustrated? How am I not over this? Why is this so overwhelming for me? I would get so annoyed with myself. But now, it's like when I get frustrated, I just deal with it. Okay, I'm frustrated. So it's like I may get frustrated, I may lose my patience sometimes, but how I get out of that state of not letting it consume me is that I tell myself that I am doing the best job I can. This is what I'm doing that is good. Just because I have a moment where I feel overwhelmed and I didn't act in the best light, that doesn't mean that I'm not striving to be better. I'm not trying to overcome these things. I'm not working on these things. So it's just like one of those things that we can't expect to be perfect. We will never be perfect. So it's like I'm not treating like it's the end of the world, like woe is me, I'll never get to that place of complete healing or getting over this thing that I really desperately want to get over. When it's like 99% of the time I'm being the best version of me and 1% of the time I fail. Like, is that really something to look at that 1% as like, oh, I'm not a good person versus the 99% that I am striving to be my best and doing my best job? So if your thing was being reactive and emotionally reacting from things, but you've gained majority of the part emotional stability, you will have that 1% of time where you are reactive. But the fact is that now you're self-aware of it. And you'll be like, and then you'll just start praying like, Creator, help me overcome this. I don't want to be reactive. Show me what I need to see. Help me in those moments where I feel frustrated. Help me calm down before I am reactive. So there'll be things that you'll be able to change just like that. Like sobriety, I was able to change overnight and not go back to it. Healthy diet, I was able to change and not go back to junk. Yeah, maybe I'll still have chips sometimes, but I'm still trying to cut that out. But that's my like one vice that I give into. So it's just like there'll be things that are easier to change, that habits that are easier to make, and there's some things that have been buried away so deep that takes longer for you to heal. But the point is you're not ignoring it. You're self-aware of it. You recognize that it's a problem, and that's the first step to changing it. And every time it comes up, you still recognize that it's a problem and I want to change this. So slowly and slowly, you get less reactive and less triggered by people, and you get better at choosing, hey, I'm not going to react this way in this situation because I reacted that way before. and that's not the person who I want to be. So you start to choose better.